Hello and welcome back to Foods and Entertainment for my review of Final Destination 3, which is part of this Digibook box set. Final Destination 3 was released in 2006 and stars Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who we know from Netflix Kate, Gemini Man with Will Smith, as well as Birds of Prey and The Fabulous Life of Harley Quinn from DC Films universe. And she's also appeared in Live Free or Die Hard and A Good Day to Die Hard with Bruce Willis. And Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, which you obviously know her from. As well as an underrated horror film, which is the prequel to The Thing, which I think she did a wonderful job in. Alright, well, Final Destination 3. Final Destination 3 continues the story from the second film. Although some people will arguably say that it actually takes place... No, it does take place after the second film. It came out in 2006. And we'll go into the quality of that a little bit later. Okay, again, we are left with the main character, played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead in this film. She is going on to this roller coaster ride with her friends. She went to this amusement park as part of a retreat for their high school reunion. And she happens to be the photographer who's taking pictures for the high school yearbook. And they go on this very terrifying roller coaster ride. And she sees everybody, including herself, die very grisly deaths on the roller coaster ride. And of course, you don't know what happens. She freaks out because of her premonition. 7 individuals fled the area, and we see the rest of the people on the roller coaster ride die very gruesome deaths. And then, obviously, the remaining people that survived die mysterious deaths, one by one, one after the other. Well, in this case, there was actually 2 at the same time. Alright, this is what makes this one a little more interesting. And, quite literally, this is a toss-up between this one and the 5th film for what I think is the best. And, I'll be honest, this might be the best, in my opinion, of the franchise. And I'll explain why. While the first film, we had like newspaper clippings and making a map looking at points of impact on the plane that Alex was using and stuff like that to determine the order the people die in. Then in the second film you had the interesting concept of seeing the distant flashes and visions. Things that you couldn't understand but kind of make more sense as you go along. What makes this one even more interesting to me, and probably the most executed one, is the fact that I mentioned that our main character was taking photos for the school yearbook for graduation class. Plays a very big key role in not just determining the order of people and how they're going to die, but what method is going to be used for how the individual dies. And it's all shown in very interesting ways that you have to really pay attention to, is the characters in the film as well as the viewer who's watching the movie, and really squint your eye and really try to look at the whole photo to figure out how the individual is going to die. And I think that's insanely clever and insanely smart and interesting. Which definitely raises Final Destination 3 up quite a few notches, to where I feel that this might be the best one in the franchise. And it's because of that execution about how you're going to get your information about how these people are going to die one after the other. And that's cool. Now, what makes this different from the first two films is everybody dies in this movie. Everybody. Our main character, everybody. This starts to twist innings to where they're like, oh, everybody dies. And that's the way it is from now on. In these films, I might add. Everybody dies. In every single one of these movies. From the third one on. I mean, in the first one, Alex and Claire survived. In the second one, A.J. Cook's character, as well as, I believe, two of the other characters in the film survive. In Final Destination 3, everybody dies, literally. So, definitely different than that. Now, quality. Again, this is 2006. And so, we're still dependent on 720p HD being a maximum resolution. Full HD 1080 would not be introduced until the next year, in 2007. Now, as far as the first three films go, being converted to 4K through my 4K TV, Final Destination 3 is probably the best looking one out of the original trilogy. In terms of all that. This is also the first Final Destination film to be presented in 2.4.1 CinemaScope widescreen, which is similar to what you're looking at in this camera, but the bars are just a little bit bigger on the top and bottom. And then as for the sound, they definitely got a whole lot better sound in this one. This one is probably the first really good effect-heavy film in the franchise that you can really feel the effects. And it really feels like there's not really a whole lot of compression and just lowering levels down at all. Now, obviously, it's not lowered down in the first two films because it's using Dolby True HD, which means you have low, mids, and highs, and it fluctuates. But it still was a product of its time. This one, although kind of being a product of its time, definitely has a lot more elevation in the sound department of having more dramatic effects and really utilizing Dolby True HD sound technology to making it have more of an appearance in the audio presentation of the movie. So, there you go on that. Now, I already did my personal opinion of the film, so that's really all there is to say about Final Destination 3. Now, we'll see you guys next time for my review of the Final Destination. Until then.